thank you for asking me to share with you today a little bit about, who we are. We're journeying together as the family of St. Therese. We've been having a wonderful retreat and excellent speakers this morning. And I feel proud and blessed to be among them to talk with you. And as we continue to grow in our own holiness, it is always good for us to reflect back a little bit on who we are and to be able to convey to others who we are as the family of St. Therese. So today we want to reflect a little bit about who we are as members of the family, to share with others to know the vision that God has put on the heart of Deacon and empowered us with, but also to empower ourselves to know who we are so that we can take that message out to a broader world and be confident of who we are as a people, who we are as a family, so that we can bring people into our family as a family celebration. So, we are right now a lay apostolate of a family of lay Catholics. And the Archbishop, he recognizes us as a private association of the lay faithful. However, it's also on Deacon's heart to be in a preparatory phase of becoming a public institute. So that entails many things. And we've been traveling together as a lay apostolate. And just to take a quick glimpse first at what is a lay apostolate and who are we as a people of St. Therese and why the family of St. Therese. This mystical person who went before us a few generations ago. How can she inspire us today? And I think one of the things we all recognize is that we are all called to that holiness. We're called to be living saints in heaven. And in order to be living saints in heaven, one of the things I think as Catholics today is we don't realize we do want to be living saints here on earth. We want to be living saints here before we go to heaven. A couple of things that impressed me with some of the things that St. Therese wrote about in her journals is she talks about her trip to through the Swiss Alps. And she was on the plane, she was on the train, traveling through the Swiss Alps, and she goes to the right side of the train, or the left side, and she's taking in all of the grandeur of the beauty of the Alps that God has gifted us with. But Therese takes it to another deeper level, and she realizes that if God is going to put this beautiful grandeur in our planet that is finite, our planet that someday will no longer be, how much grander and beautiful is this place where we will be for eternity? It must be even greater than this. But the other thing is she noticed she couldn't take in all of its beauty. She could only take in bits of it. And another piece she was talking with as a little girl, she asked her sister, well, why is it in heaven you have great saints and you have little ones? That doesn't seem fair. They should all be great. And she didn't quite understand it. And her sister, I think it was Pauline, said to her, well, go and get a teacup and go and get a thimble out of the sewing kit and bring them to the table. So this little girl dutifully does that, not knowing what to expect. And then her sister says, now take the water pitcher and fill both of them overflowing. Well, then she realized that the thimble was just as full as the teacup. But the other piece of that is the thimble could take in more. It's still full, and the teacup could take in more. The thimble felt equally full. But my challenge for us today, when we're going through the Swiss Alps or the ocean beaches or any parts of God's grandeur that we're touched, how much do we want to take in? Do we want to walk along the beach as if the beach mist is in and we can't see the ocean and we can't see the rocks because it's misty? Or do we want the mist blown away where we can take in the whole ocean and take in the whole grandeur of God? It seems to me if we allow ourselves to be saints here in this world, we're able to take in more of the grandeur, more of of God's love, more of God's soaking mercy, so that when we do come face to face with Him in eternity, we're bigger than the thimble. Not that the thimble isn't satisfying, but if I have the choice now, do I want to be the thimble, do I want to be the teacup, or do I want to be the pot that fills the teacup? How big do I want to be to receive and soak up all that God has to give me, so that my eyes can take in that beauty, so that my heart can be filled with it? If I spend time now, and if you and I together spend time now with our eyes on Jesus, and looking at how the saints who have gone before us incorporated that into their life, our thimble turns into the teacup, and our teacup turns into the pot that fills with water. We become bigger, so that when we are in heaven, we can take in more of God's gift. But there's another piece to that. When we're here in this world, if we're choosing to be the teacup rather than the thimble, we are a brighter star for people to see, so that we can guide people, so that more people can receive and see God's grandeur. I believe that one of the things God showed me when I was walking on the beach, there's some days when it is misty and you can't see before you. You only know because the day before you walked when it was clear, and you could see His awesome power in the ocean, and you could see the cliffs and the trees up above. There were some days when I was walking, I couldn't see the cliff that I knew was right there. And He told me, He says, well, Lori, this world, there are some people who can't see me. They want to. They know I'm here, and they see a little bit of me. But they're not able to embrace all of me. But I love them as much as I love you, and I bring my little mist, and I guide them with my mist, and I reveal to them the little bit of the ocean when they come close. I reveal to them the cliff of the power of my grandeur when they come close. And slowly the sun burns off the mist from the ocean beaches, and they can begin to see me more clearly. I'm always present, and it's hard for us to see God and be present with Him sometimes. And I believe that we as a community, we're here to grow closer to God, to allow that mist to be removed from our eyes so that He can see us and we can see Him more clearly. And in so doing, open up our doors as the family of St. Therese and invite people in to be a part of this journey with us, to be a part of looking at God's grandeur and allowing that to soak our hearts so that we can be a shining light and we can mentor. One of the things that John Paul wrote about, and he talks about the mystical traditions and how he says the great mystical tradition of the church, of both the East and the West, has much to say in this regard. It shows how prayer can progress as a genuine dialogue of love to the point of rendering the person wholly possessed by the divine beloved, vibrating at the Spirit's touch, resting filially within the Father's heart. And he was speaking of Therese of Lisieux, Therese of Avila, John of the Cross, and the mystics that empowered St. Therese, of having that intimacy with God that His love vibrates within us. So what we're here today as the family, as a private association, is to grow in our own holiness and to invite others to do the same through the life of the mystics that have gone before us, through the life of St. Therese. But then also we're challenged to take that as a public message and to be willing to surrender ourselves to our Archbishop and to see ourselves in his tutelage as well. We have already asked him to approve us to become a public institute. So what's the difference between a private and a public institute? A private institute, basically we can come together together and form our prayer and let the bishop know, and he'll bless us, but we're doing our own thing. A public institute is one where, let me read this so that we have it correctly. A public institute is more directly connected, and I'm in the bottom paragraph for those of you who are reading along. A public institute is more directly connected to the hierarchy and are seen as one who can speak on behalf of the church. So we come to know the catechism. In the church's name, they direct public apostolic work, offer spiritual guidance of the faithful, and pursue holiness by means of the evangelical counsels of poverty, obedience, and chastity. So we're a community in waiting to be birthed out from the church as a public institute. To that end, we do have another document that we're offering to women if they want to wait with us, that they can share some information with us. And we talk about how whoever is a pioneer, a woman desiring religious life in this group, must be willing to accept this unique risk of giving themselves totally to God in our preparatory phase, because we are not quite yet a public institute. But we are a group of people who have found much fruit for our own lives, and fruit that is being spread around the world, in the Philippines, in Vietnam, and in various places. So we know and we trust that our Lord is blessing us. We ask women to just come and join the family of St. Therese and pray with our family once a month. And women to come ahead and fellowship with each other on a more intimate basis more often than once a month, and form community under the guidance of this community. And those women who choose to do so will remain with us in prayer and join us as family members as time evolves. And we anticipate and expect the bishop to give us permission at some point to become a public institute and have women religious here in the United States. So I just invite all of you to come and join us in this spiritual journey and deepening of your faith, of our faith. Therese, in her life, was raised by a beautiful family who mentored her and gave her such spiritual direction that she and many of her sisters became nuns. So we do see our role as family, as being one to mentor young women and young men into religious life, as Therese's family mentored her as well. I want to thank you for taking this time to be here today and share with us. And may God bless. And if anyone has any questions, please, I'm open to any questions that you might have.